Absolutely. Here's a rewritten version of the article with entirely unique wording, while maintaining its core message and emotional depth: the power in silence. A man's journey back to himself. You wake up. No buzz, no messages, no back-to-back plans. Just stillness. Just you. At first, the quiet feels wrong, unnatural, like something's missing. Then it creeps in. That faint feeling in your chest. Not loneliness, not boredom, something deeper. That yearning to matter, to someone, and that's the moment most men flinch. They grab their phones, scroll through apps, text someone they shouldn't, not because they need connection, but because they're terrified of what the silence might reveal, because we've been conditioned to believe that quiet means we're falling behind, that no notifications must mean we're unwanted, that no woman texting means we're failing. But what if the silence wasn't a curse? What if it's a call, a challenge most men never dare to face? The world taught you to dread being alone. But no one ever explained what could happen if you welcomed it. If you stopped filling every quiet moment with noise and distractions, and simply sat with yourself. The man who learns to be alone without falling apart, he isn't weak. He's becoming unshakable. This isn't for everyone. It's for the man exhausted from chasing applause, worn down from trying to fit into boxes too small for his soul. It's for the man done performing and ready to rise. Because in a world full of noise and posturing, the man who learns to stand still becomes unforgettable. This isn't isolation. It's reclamation. You're not hiding from the world. You're finding your way back to you. The fear of silence. You sit in the dark. No dings, no pings, no calendar reminders. Just you and the truth. Most men don't fear solitude. They fear what it brings to the surface. The past you tried to forget. The goals you abandoned. The man you swore you'd become. But never did. Suddenly it all reappears. The girl who vanished, the job you didn't chase. The promise you made to yourself that you keep breaking when no one's looking. No more distractions. No conversations to vanish into. No performance to put on. Just you. And the truth you've been dodging. That's why men run. From relationship to relationship. Project to project. App to app. Not to grow, but to escape. Not from her. Not from them. But from themselves. Because when silence removes the mask, you're left with only one choice. Face the real you, or run again. Yes. The silence will squeeze your chest. It'll amplify every insecurity. You're not enough. You're invisible. You'll never make it. But stay, breathe, and you'll notice something. You're still here, still breathing, still capable. Those thoughts, they aren't truth. They're echoes. And you don't have to answer the door when they knock. This is where clarity is born. Quiet, subtle, but undeniable. You're not your history, not your mistakes, not the people who left. You are the man who stayed, the one who didn't flinch. And that's power. Growth doesn't start at the gym. It doesn't start in self-help books or 30-second reels. It starts here, in the silence, where you decide you're worth meeting face to face. The approval. Detox. Most men aren't hooked on alcohol or gambling. Their real addiction? Approval. They wake up and reach for their phones, not for news but for validation. Did she text? Did they like my post? Did someone notice me? It seems harmless, but it's not. It's dependency dressed as connection. A quiet addiction that whispers, be liked, be seen, don't be forgotten. But here's the truth. Approval seeking is soul shrinking. You'll laugh at jokes that don't land, agree with things you hate, stay in rooms you've outgrown, all to avoid the sting of rejection. You think you're keeping the peace, but you're sacrificing yourself. And every time you choose to be liked over being real, you chip away at who you are. Eventually, the mask gets too heavy. You're burned out not because you're weak, but because you've been pretending for too long. The way out? A detox, not from screens or sugar, but from approval. You stop shaping your opinions to match the room. You stop texting just to feel seen. You stop performing. You start asking, am I doing this because I mean it? Or because I want to be liked? That single question? It changes everything. You begin to speak from a place of truth, not to be heard, but because it needs to be said. And slowly, people notice. Your presence gains weight. Your words hit deeper. Not because you're trying to be noticed, but because you've stopped trying altogether. That's the paradox. When you stop needing attention, you command it. Men who crave approval blend in, but men who choose integrity, they stand out. Not because they're loud, but because they're aligned. Clarity through solitude. Every man reaches a point where the volume drops, and what's left is silence, not empty, not lonely. Just still. And in that stillness something clicks, not because life suddenly changed, but because you stepped back. You turned down the noise, the pressure, the expectations, the nonstop stream of opinions. And for the first time you could hear yourself. Solitude isn't isolation. It's purification. A reset, a stripping away of everything false until what remains is you. In the chaos, you're reactive, defensive, exhausted from trying to keep up. But in solitude, you slow down. You reflect. You notice who you become around certain people and whether you like that version of yourself. You start asking better questions. What actually matters to me? Who drains me? What makes me come alive? And here's the power. You don't need to answer right away. You just sit with it. No approval, no rush, no performance. You feel, you breathe. You sift through the noise. Eventually, clarity rises. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You create space, not out of coldness, but out of discernment. Your life starts to reflect your values. Your habits support your direction. Your circle matches your mission. You're no longer living to fit in. You're living to become. Solitude sharpens your focus, burns off the unnecessary, and leaves behind a man who is rooted, grounded, unshakable. Conclusion. The man who chose himself. So if your world feels quiet right now, don't panic. That stillness isn't absence. It's an invitation. You don't need more attention, or more noise, or more shallow affirmation. You need presence, stillness, time with the version of you you've ignored for too long. Because the man who walks alone is not broken. He's rebuilding. He's not lost. He's finding center. He's not begging to be chosen. He's already chosen himself. And when you become that man, life starts to shift. Not through force, but through alignment. The right people stay. The wrong ones drift. And what you were chasing begins to chase you. That's not fantasy, that's mastery. Now it's your turn. Comment below. I choose solitude to build my strength. Not for applause, not for likes, but because you're done hiding. Because you're ready to become the man you were always meant to be. And if you're ready to build not noise, but clarity, stillness, and quiet strength, this is where it begins. Welcome to the Stoic path. We don't chase validation. We create men who lead from within.